In this chilling tale, we explore the dark and tragic history of the Carl Beck House in Ontario, Canada, a once grand Victorian home now haunted by the unresolved bitterness of its former residents. From the betrayal of a father to the eerie occurrences that followed, this story will take you deep into a place where the past refuses to stay buried and the spirits still linger in the shadows. In the quiet town of Penetanguishene, Ontario, stands a grand yet ominous Victorian house known as the Carl Beck House, with its red brick exterior, towering gables and ornate trim. The house might seem like just another charming relic of the 19th century, but its history is steeped in tragedy, betrayal, and chilling tales that continue to haunt those who dare approach it. The story of the Carl Beck House begins with Carl Beck, a prosperous businessman who lived in the home with his large family in the late 1800s. By all accounts, Beck was a respected figure, though known for his stern demeanor. After his wife passed away, he was left to raise their 14 children alone, a burden he reportedly took on with strict authority. Despite his wealth, Carl was known to be a frugal and demanding father, expecting his children to work hard and contribute to the family. But one daughter, Mary, would be forever tied to the house's dark legacy. Mary was the youngest of Carl's daughters, and, unlike her siblings, she didn't follow the path her father had mapped out for her. She was independent, strong-willed, and uninterested in the responsibilities that came with being the daughter of a prominent family. This rebellious streak did not sit well with Carl, and their relationship grew increasingly strained. In 1910, Carl Beck passed away. His will, which divided his estate among his children, was written with cold precision. Each child received their portion, except for Mary. In a final act of cruelty, Carl left her only a paltry sum, a clear message of his disapproval. This blatant act of betrayal devastated Mary. Unable to move on, she remained in the house long after her siblings left, becoming a bitter recluse. Neighbors whispered that she never forgave her father and would speak to his portrait in the hallway late at night, cursing his name. Then, one cold December night, Mary was found dead in her bedroom. The cause of death was declared natural, but many believed her spirit could not rest. Strange things began happening in the house. Visitors reported hearing footsteps echoing through the empty halls and seeing shadows flicker on the walls when no one else was there. Most unsettling of all, Carl Beck's portrait, which hung in the main hallway, seemed to move on its own. Some swore that his eyes followed them as they walked by, while others claimed the expression on his face would change, from a stern glare to a twisted smile. After Mary's death, the house passed through several owners, but no one stayed for long. Some reported feeling watched, while others heard unexplained noises in the dead of night. One family, eager to restore the old house to its former glory, found their dream quickly turning into a nightmare. They awoke one night to the sound of heavy footsteps climbing the stairs, but when they went to investigate, the house was empty. Doors would slam shut on their own, and lights would flicker uncontrollably. The atmosphere in the house grew more oppressive, as though something unseen was constantly looming over them. One night, while exploring the basement, the family discovered a hidden room. Inside, they found old letters written by Mary, filled with bitter rage toward her father. The letters spoke of her belief that Carl's spirit was trapped in the house, refusing to leave because of his guilt. She wrote about hearing his voice calling her name at night and seeing his figure standing at the foot of her bed, watching her. Terrified, the family moved out soon after. No one wanted to live in the house for long, and it became abandoned, left to decay under the weight of its tragic past. But the stories didn't stop. Locals claimed to see lights flickering in the windows late at night, even though the house was empty. Some swore they saw a figure standing in the upstairs window. Staring out toward the street, a group of teenagers, daring each other to enter the house, reported hearing whispering voices and footsteps following them as they crept through the darkened rooms. One girl claimed she felt a cold hand brush against her neck, though no one was there. The legend of the Carl Beck House grew over the years, attracting paranormal investigators and thrill seekers. Some brought high-tech equipment, hoping to capture proof of the haunting. They didn't leave disappointed. EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, captured ghostly whispers, and strange orbs of light appeared in photographs. One investigator even claimed to have seen a figure resembling Carl Beck himself, standing at the top of the staircase, glaring down at them with piercing eyes. Despite these experiences, no one could ever fully explain the strange occurrences. Was it the restless spirit of Carl Beck, unable to move on from his earthly sins? Or was it Mary, forever tied to the house by her father's betrayal, her anger keeping her spirit trapped within its walls? Today the Carl Beck House still stands, its once grand facade weathered by time, but still exuding an eerie presence. It's become a place of legend where visitors are drawn by the allure of its haunted past. Those brave enough to step inside can feel the weight of its history, the air thick with the sorrow and anger that seem to cling to the walls. Some say that if you listen closely, you can still hear the sound of footsteps pacing the floors at night. Others claim to have seen shadows moving in the corners of their vision, only to vanish when they turn to look. But one thing is certain: the spirits of the Beck family, whether they be of Carl or Mary, are not at rest, and they may never be. This is the haunting of the Carl Beck House, a place where betrayal, sorrow, and anger have left an indelible mark, and where the line between the living and the dead is forever blurred.